Hi guys, I'm Dominic Vose and this is Dragonheart.
Well, welcome to Dragonheart, everyone. I am joined by Mark, Bill, and the singing commentator himself, Neil Williams.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Not too bad. I'm just glad that there is no pregnant sow stopping Neil from joining us. That's all I can say.
No, another week's time at the moment, so I'm all right tonight.
We should point out, if you didn't hear this last week, that Neil's debut on Dragonheart was postponed by a porcine pregnancy. But
no, it was a true pregnancy, and it was an actual giving birth as well. So, but it wasn't just one; it was two.
All right, a double porcine pregnancy.
Yeah,
a spare rib, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Neil's been making the sausages of the future. Yes,
there'll be some available next week, guys.
I hope everyone's got over the Wembley heartache. We're going to be talking about that, unfortunately, in a second. We've got the Grimsby game to be looking forward to, and we have the end of season's awards and a few other little bits and bobs. So, without further ado, let's get into it. This is Dragonheart.
I'm Liam McClendon, and this is Dragonheart.
Well, before we talk about the final, let's listen to what Phil Parkinson said about the match.
Phil, it wasn't to be your assessment of the game.
Yeah, I felt some of our approach play was decent. We got some very good areas, but we couldn't find that bit of quality today in the final third to unlock the door and get us in the lead or get us back in the game when we went 1-0 down. There was no lack of effort. It was no lack of lads trying to implement how we've been playing and how we needed to play. I thought we switched the play, got the overloads in wide areas, but just that final cross, that final pass when we broke, just wasn't there today. That little bit of quality which we've shown all season. As everyone knows, that's what wins games of football. So that's my assessment.
And in terms of the players now, will it be a case of trying to lift them before, obviously, next Saturday, or will that take care of itself?
Well, I just said to them, listen, we've got to take this defeat on the chin. Credit to Bromley for winning, but since day one of pre-season, the aim is to get promotion, and we can't let this affect us. You know, we can't. No one wants to come to Wembley and not win a trophy. We've had an outstanding support today, and I feel for the supporters going back up the road and all our families and friends. But equally, we've got to get this disappointment out quickly and get on for a good week's training next week and go into the playoff semi next Saturday.
With everything that went on, in the build-up and all the talk about whether the owners are going to come over for the game, do you think that's affected, or did you just solely concentrate on the game?
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't think that affected it as at all. Bromley, they've been working towards this game and resting players and getting everyone ready. Well, we've been on a promotion campaign. But that was nothing to do with it. We just, like I said, we just didn't produce the quality I know we can produce when it really mattered. But we'll be ready for next week.
Can you figure on why that might be? I mean, you've got the big stage, you've got thousands of fans.
Yeah.
Is it just one of those days, or?
Yeah, I think it's sometimes can be like a little bit anxiousness, so determined to win the game, just a little bit hurried on our final decision, and that's what it just felt like at half time. We said the lads, but we've got to get that extra passing when we're breaking and just find that bit of quality. I thought we started the second half well. We had some good periods in the game, but yeah, football's about final third, and the one moment of real quality was when the lads broke through and he squared the ball with a bit of calmness, and Michael Cheeks won the game.
You nicked it at the end?
Well, a couple of things. I thought, I can't believe the referee gave 7 minutes. I mean, the fourth official on 83 minutes had said, he's talking about 8. and then there was only about 2 minutes of that, 2 or 3 minutes of that final 7 played, and then you reduced it to 7. I mean, our analysts were time it should have been at least 10 minutes. You know, in the last 15, 20 minutes of the game, the ball was hardly in play, so I'm not sure how he reduced it to 7. But yeah, we've had some good chances. The keeper's made a magnificent save, and then we've had a goal disallowed.
Jake Hyde come on and he went close and had the ball in the back of the net as well. He actually did come close to that equaliser.
Yeah, Jake's had a tough time because he's had a bad injury, and you know he has been training for a few weeks, but he's ready to play his part in the playoffs.
It's a case of lifting players now. Obviously, they're bound to be disappointed after that defeat, but there's still so much to play for.
Yeah, exactly that. You know, I've just said to him in there that this hurts, obviously, more because of the support we had as well, and but that's the nature of this game. You know, you get knocked, you've got to pick yourself up quickly, and we've got so much to play for this season, starting next Saturday. And like I said, since day one, there's been a real focus. The FA Trophy was always a bonus for us. We know that, and we need to be ready and focused on next week and give everything we've got to get into the playoff final.
Just a word on the support, was around 20,000 there. It made for a great atmosphere.
Yeah, outstanding support. We've had it all season. You gents followed us home and away. It's been magnificent, and yeah, I feel for the supporters because they've spent a lot of money, and we're not coming back with a trophy like we intended to. But it wasn't a lack of effort, I can assure you of that. But yeah, we're disappointed. But life as a supporter, like a player and a manager, can be tough. You have the highs and lows of following your team. Today's a low. We've got to make sure next Saturday's a high.
Phil, you've said all along promotion is obviously the one that we want this season. But how do you raise the players against before a massive game next week? How do you do that now?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have a chat as a staff on the way back about the week ahead. But listen, we're going to be playing from a full house at the racecourse, and the lads know the importance of that game. And like I said, it's getting that balance right between understanding the importance of it, but make sure we've got that bit of calmness as well about our play, and that's the key, which we've done all season. You know, we've scored top scorers in the league. I think whether Stockport overtook that on the last day, I'm not sure, but you know, we've scored goals today. Just the set play delivery wasn't quite there, etc. But it will be next week.
Might be a bit early to tell, but any niggles ahead of next weekend?
Everybody seems fine. You know, hopefully we'll have a couple more players available as well, and yeah, we'll give them every chance to be fit for selection for next Saturday.
Have the owners been to the dressing room after the match? Have they spoken to the players?
Yeah, the owners came before the game and had a chat with the lads and come down with all the families afterwards, and you know, that's credit to them because they've been great with the lads and myself, and yeah, they're disappointed, but they're in there lifting the team, and we'll be ready. We'll be ready for next week, I'll tell you that now. You know, it's you know, I'm the coach, I imagine it's going to be quiet, but once we get back in training this week, you know, the focus is going to be firmly on next Saturday, and yeah, the owners, it's their first season, a full season of ownership, and it's the nature of the industry. It doesn't all go your own way in football, but the important game for us is next Saturday.
I'm Luke Young, and this is Dragonheart.
Wrexham have suffered yet another defeat at Wembley to what I'd say a good side who've got their tactics right. But yeah, another hard one to take at Wembley. Mark, what are your thoughts a few days on?
I think that obviously it's disappointing, but when you look at it, Bromley got the game plan right, as you said. I thought Bromley did really well, but did they do more than us? Not particularly. I think Phil Parkinson's summary of the game was pretty fair. We had a pretty decent game, but we didn't have enough quality to make enough clear-cut chances, which was unlike us. But these things happen. Bromley, I thought, early on looked a bit vulnerable because when we were hitting Mullen and Palmer early, they were isolating defenders, Mullen was beating players, and we were opening them up and we were making chances, at least half chances. And because of that, they pulled a bit deeper. and they defended quite deep and hit us on the break, and they're passing, through the thirds, defenders or deep midfielders hitting the strikers was very good, and ultimately they started making chances. Until they started making chances and Dibble had to start making saves, I felt this is fine. We'll get a goal, we'll sneak this. But once they started opening us up, yeah, I started feeling a little concerned, to be honest.
Well, there was a few
quite easily, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, they did. But there was a few shocks prior to the game. Neil, what was your thoughts on the starting 11?
To be honest, I didn't really understand why he'd reshuffled the pack and brought in players that hadn't played for us for a while as a team. I thought, if we're going to go for this FA Trophy final, stick with your main squad team and see where it goes from there, and then bring on maybe new additions during the game if things aren't going away or are things going your way. But I thought, personally, as a fan watching it, I thought Wrexham were quite negative in their play. There was a lot of, yes, we do play a lot along the back, but we didn't seem to be going anywhere. We didn't take on players. They'd always, take the easy option and pass it back to somebody in the back four. As a fan watching for the first time rather than with you guys, I was full of hope first half, and I thought, but we weren't creating very much at all. I mean, they were nullifying out Palmer and Mullin very easily. Those long balls over the top, Palmer won very, very few because of their huge, defenders. So on the whole, I was very disappointed with the display, with such a big, Wrexham following there. I was disappointed for them. And I thought, well, with the lineup he had, did he have one eye on the semi-final this weekend?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Neil. Was he shuffling to try something different? Maybe if it went well, maybe this is something we would have done against Grimsby. Bill, what was your thoughts when the starting 11 came up? Sorry.
I could echo what Neil's saying. Really, it seemed a strange selection. I mean, McAlinden was the standout one for me, just because you put in a very left-footed player on as right wing back, and I think it shows that we're taking the playoffs a lot more seriously than we are the trophy, which you can sort of look at it in two ways. You can either say why get to the final and stop taking it seriously, or another, maybe, and I'm pretty sure he did an interview today in the Leader, sort of saying that he wanted to give Tom O'Connor a run out just in case he was needed for the playoffs. So it kind of makes you wonder if he's actually got Tom O'Connor to start in mind, and maybe he didn't want to drop any of the midfielders just yet to see where he fits in. But I don't know really. It's a bit of a strange one before the game, and difficult match to watch in a lot of ways from the stands. Anyway, how was it in the press box?
Delicious.
Yeah.
Well, we did talk, didn't we, last week about Wembley press box catering? I think.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. The FA came through. Oh man, it was beautiful. Does everyone really want to hear about? Is this Uncle Griff's bedtime story for this week? Me stopping us talking about losing at Wembley to talk about a bacon sandwich.
Oh, sounds good to me.
Uncle Griff's bedtime stories.
Oh, Neil's cleared his throat so he can hear it properly.
No, I've just had homemade Thai green curry, so I'm happy, mate.
Oh man, he's always going to out-trump me on the food side. Shocking.
Again,
shocking.
A customer brought them in this afternoon, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Man, let's live in this bucolic Whitchurch heaven where everybody goes round to the local shop with their produce, and I live in Wrexham where
I had a bottle of wine. I had a bottle of wine today as well.
Bottle of
wine.
Oh,
nice bottle of red wine.
Fair enough.
Off a customer, yeah.
Well, your Thai curry may be nice, but Chay and I, we had the food of the gods. It was a bacon sandwich. I don't want to call it a bacon sandwich for a couple of reasons. One is, I don't know if it was bacon. It was more like sort of wonder meat. I don't. It was like floppy gammon times 7 in flavour.
Ham hock.
Huh?
Ham hock.
You know, don't call me that in public again. I had just a girl in my school when I was in school called Pam Hock. Yeah. No, and it was amazing. It was in a brioche bun. Oh, it was just. I don't want to call it a bacon sandwich because I don't think you really should call it anything. I think any name just cheapens it. It was just. Oh.
It was good.
And
the cookies were amazing.
Yeah, and there were cookies. I had sort of mid-level single digits of cookies, shall we say? I think it was 4.
I usually wake up from big games like that with a bit of a hangover if I'm not covering it. But I had the hangover from all the food I ate and all the pop I drank. So that's how I drown my sorrows on Sunday. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, football?
Yeah, back to the football.
Oh,
back to the football. Anyway.
Uncle Griff's bedtime stories.
Mark, before the game, it took everyone in the press box, or who's commentating anyway, a long time to actually figure out the team, didn't it? Which you did in the end.
Took the others a long time. I worked it out. Don't you worry about it. I mean, I'm really interested. I didn't see that subsequent interview with Phil Parkinson that Bill was referring to, because I thought he's not reshuffling. He's just not happy about Dagenham. I mean, Hall Johnson appears to be behind Hosanna at the moment in a pecking order, and he has been a little erratic lately, Hall Johnson. So I thought he just decided, well, if Hosanna's not fit, he fancies, I think, McAlinden as a wing back more than we do, and I'll throw him in. And then in terms of O'Connor coming in for French, I think French is very unlucky, but O'Connor can play centre-back, and I think it's quite understandable that Parkinson's keen to use him because he's got a lot of quality, and if he can play a part in the playoffs, that'd be great. But if you're saying that he was genuinely sort of trying to get O'Connor up to speed, that is a slightly unusual thing to do. The thing that bothered me about it was that I think he's right when he says that the way the game went, we were still getting our overloads on the flanks like we want to. I agree, but they weren't as effective because Cleworth was on the wrong side. And so he was coming forwards, but not as confidently as he normally does, because he'll go bombing past McFadden, won't he, to go around the back of the fence himself. He wasn't doing that on the right, and O'Connor wasn't doing that on the left. I'm not saying that as criticism of O'Connor. It's the first time he's played at the back for us. He's still learning the system. You know, I don't think he's super fast. So all of a sudden, it wasn't quite as dynamic the way that the players would rotate position out on the flanks, and it didn't work as well. You know, I think Cleworth got into one crossing position and mishit it, and O'Connor only from set pieces. So I thought that, and then also, unfortunately, as Neil alluded to, McAlinden. If you play McAlinden as a wing back, it's because you want to get at them. Fair enough. But actually, he didn't really run at people, did he? Hall Johnson looked a bit more likely to take someone on and beat them when he came on. So I feel sorry for McAlinden, but he didn't give that extra edge going forwards of a winger. Possibly, as Bill said, because he was on the wrong flank.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But was that about getting McAlinden some more game time as well? I don't know. It was all a bit strange, wasn't it? I think the whole game was strange, but I think for most of the game, I thought, as you said, Mark, I'm looking back at it, we played okay, didn't we? Didn't play to our best potential, did we? But we played okay, didn't we, Bill?
It felt a lot like some of the earlier games in the season, pre-Palmer, where we just didn't quite get into that second or third gear. Sorry, not choking on any Thai green curry or any nice ham hock butties or anything here.
Oh, he's very much
box standard tea for me. It was very strange, and I think. Me and Chay spoke about it, and I said dominated to him, and maybe dominated the wrong word, but I feel like we were in complete control of possession for the first 60 minutes. We just couldn't do anything in the final third, and credit to Bromley really that they were able to stop us from advancing any further. But Yeah, just and then just the patterns of play sort of broke down a little bit, and Bromley started getting chances, didn't they, Neil?
Yeah, Bromley, I thought their passing was a lot slicker than ours. You know, they're more adventurous with their passing and seemed to be able to pass through our midfield to their strikers. So, yeah, I was a bit unnerved about that. And you could see Palmer was getting very frustrated with the service that he was getting up front. He was getting very, you know, he didn't have a chance against their strikers, and the ball's coming to him. You know, he didn't. I can't remember him winning the ball really that came above head height. So he had a difficult task. But you know, for me, why mix it up? You know, you knew there was 20,000+ fans making that trip down to London. You know, expecting us to come back with a trophy. And they've spent a lot of money doing that. You know, the tickets and the travel, and a lot of people stayed down there. And I would have played personally my strongest team, and I don't think that was his strongest team. You know, to try and bring that trophy and to bring some enjoyment to the fans and for their efforts for making the journey down there. You know, that's for me, that's what it's all about. And then you look at your next game, the semi-final of the FA of the league. So I think personally got it totally wrong.
Well, I agree, except that I there's still a bit of me thinks he felt that was the right team. He's got a week of recovery.
Yeah, but a lot of them played in that team. That's my, you know, they hadn't been part of that team, so I don't understand his thinking. You know, keep our defence as we normally have Hall Johnson on his normal wing and Cleworth on his normal wing, which is their strongest positions. You know, French should have been on from the start and had us. You know, then, you know, if things are going wrong, then mix it up.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'd say the only thing is I think he did think that was the team to win it. I think mistakenly, but I think he did.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, it was a great day out, but just the wrong result at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's football, isn't it? You can't always beat everyone. I've always said this. Bromley were a really tough task. You know, if we watched them early on the season, they had an early red card and we played them at home, which I think made the game more comfortable for us. And I think the away tie, they were a really tough game. I think they had our number. So I think all credit to Bromley. I think they got the tactics right. And in all fairness, deserved winners, and you can't take that away from them, can you, Mark? You know, we can criticize Wrexham as much as possible, but there's two games in this, two teams in this game.
As Neil said, their back three were outstanding. I thought Chris Bush was brilliant, and also, I mean, maybe they caught us out a little bit because Corey Whiteley is a player who's played a lot of his career in a front three, but they've converted him to a wing back, and that's every time I've seen him this season or seen about him this season, that's where he's been playing. But he was playing behind the strikers, and I thought he was outstanding. The way he was finding space between the lines, that was why I think, as Neil said, they were able to play forward passes so accurately, because he was really good when we were pushing up the pitch. He was really good at cheating, staying up the pitch, getting between the lines and making himself available so that when our attacks broke down, they could hit early passes along the floor. He'd run onto it and cause problems. And of course, that's where the goal comes from, isn't it? Where he's running in on Dibble, and then he's cute enough to play the perfect little ball square to Cheek to score.
Yeah, that first goal was really good, wasn't it? In all fairness, Michael Cheek, quality striker. Bill, what was your thoughts as a fan being in the stands when that first goal went in for them?
It's a bit surreal, really. There was almost part of, maybe it was because we were in a big stadium, half expecting VAR to show up and change something that had happened. I don't know. It was very surreal. I thought the whole game was very surreal, and the goal went in and I didn't feel like we'd lost it, but then I almost didn't feel like we were going to score. It was quite strange. Maybe it was the atmosphere up in the top tier where it wasn't quite as rowdy as down below. You know, there wasn't as many fans up there, but it was just a bit like, oh, that's not in the script. We've all come for a day out to celebrate our expectant trophy win, and it didn't happen. And you know, these things happen in football, and it's maybe the first bit of heartbreak for the owners, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think you hit it spot on, Chay. They had their tactics really right on us. They'd done their homework really well on us, and they didn't allow us to play. So yeah, all credit to Bromley. They deserved the win. We didn't create much in the way of scoring, and many times we didn't even look like scoring.
Yeah, we didn't even look like scoring until the last minute, really, where we forced a world-class save from their goalkeeper, Mark, and we had an amazing view of it, and we were all astonished that he got a hand to that.
That was madness, wasn't it? I mean, it was past him, and we thought Hyde had scored. It was just a magnificent stop. And then we get two more chances within essentially 90 seconds, all falling to Hyde. The second one, he just gets his feet tangled up. He's offside. He's definitely offside, but it really doesn't look like the linesman's flagging. It looks like he gives a goal kick. So I think it would have counted. And he just got his legs totally tangled up. It's a bit of a tap-in, really. And then the third one, the offside goal, I've seen people complaining about it. It's a correct decision. Hyde's offside again. He's ducked under the ball, which is why the keeper's not been able to hold on to it. And then he scores the rebound, but he's clearly interfering if he's ducking underneath the ball to unsight the goalkeeper. So no complaints about that. The other one, which I didn't really realise was quite so close as I thought at the time, is when I was editing the highlights.
Over the line.
Was that?
Was it over the line?
Which one? Oh, no.
Sorry,
the one where Jordan Davis got round the back of the defence and he hit it across the face and no one got on the end of it. At the time, I thought it was just one of those where, a player gets round the back, just hits it in there, and no one's looks close, no one's actually going to get in there. But when you look at the replay, Palmer is in the perfect position at the near post to just attack the near post and tap it in. And just as Davis is hitting it, Palmer thinks, perfect for the cutback. And he takes a step backwards. And, he had got a lovely position. If Davis had cut it back, Palmer would have scored. But if Palmer had decided to just attack the near post, maybe the more orthodox thing, then I think he would have equalised because Davis's pass was perfect for that. But he just decided play for the cutback and got it. Tossed the coin and got it wrong. If he'd gone the other way, we'd have scored, I think.
That's all ifs and buts now, isn't it?
True.
Unfortunately. But the only thing I'm quite worried about is in our last 3, 4, 5 away games, we've only picked up a draw and a win, haven't we, against Weymouth and Boreham Wood. Away from home, we haven't got our mojo as much at the moment, have we, Mark, really?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that slightly concerns me. Maybe we'll get onto that as well when we're talking about next Saturday. But yeah, it seems like away from the racecourse, we've had a little bit of a wobble, haven't we? 6 away games, 1 win. And even in that game, that was the Weymouth match where, we won 6-1. Okay. But at half-time, we were losing, and that was the worst performance out of all of them. But 0-0 at Bromley, which you alluded to, the loss at Woking, which was very frustrating because we didn't really get going. Weymouth got going in the second half. Boreham Wood got going when they went down to 10 men. And then Dagenham and Redbridge, which was horrible, and Bromley. So we do need to remedy that. But of course, we've got to get to the final before we can remedy that, don't we?
Well, talking about getting to the final, after this, we're going to talk about the biggest game of the season, that semi-final against Grimsby.
I'm Jake Hyde, and this is Dragonheart.
Mark, Grimsby at home. It's we say the FA Trophy wasn't season-defining match. Well, this one is. Mark, it doesn't get bigger than this, does it?
Well, hopefully it will a week later. But no, you're right. I'm always it's a bit soft to say this, but it always makes me feel slightly edgy when you get these sorts of games where you just can't come back from them. Speaking of not being able to come back from them, we don't know where Neil's gone. We just hope he and his pigs are okay. But it's like, if this doesn't go right, the season suddenly just ends. So
it's the brutality of it, isn't it? That's it. You lose the game and that's it. It's over. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, this is a daft comparison in a way, but when it's got when they had the what's it called, golden goals, and Portugal lost the European Cup Championship final on golden goals to France. It was a penalty, and the level of descent was horrific. Abel Xavier handled the ball on the line, definitely about he dived full length. So there's no question it was the right decision. But he went nuts at the ref because he knows that a penalty in the golden goal situation, a penalty, that's over. And it's like, at the time, I was horrified. I remember he got banned for like about a year for internationals, and Sapinto got banned for longer because he went really nuts at the ref. But you can sort of emotionally understand it because that's it. You've nearly got to winning the European Championship, and then you know that just that one moment has cost you everything. So I get that. It is high jeopardy. I guess that's why people like watching football. It's not so much fun when your team's in it, though.
Yeah, I always found like playoffs are so much more enjoyable when you're in neutral and you can just watch, like the likes of Huddersfield playing Nottingham Forest or something from the comfort of your own home, knowing you're not having to go through it yourself. It's something a lot more entertaining about it than when you're actually there, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I personally thought Notts County were going to win on Monday or Tuesday, was it? I can't quite remember which day it was. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the whole game. I only got to watch a bit of the added time. Mark, what was your thoughts on the Grimsby-Notts County game?
Grimsby deserved it. Grimsby were really good. Much better than I've seen them this year. They really played well. When Notts County got their penalty quarter of an hour from the end, well, I mean, I've got to be honest. It was against the run of play, totally against the run of play. And I know that Grimsby had to score in, 96 minutes, and from a scuffed miss hit by their goalkeeper 6 yards out as the assist. And also that the winner was late in extra time, but they deserved it. They played really well. I was impressed with them. The target man is big and strong. Taylor, I want to say Taylor, or I get mixed up. And then the three behind really rotate well off him. McAtee in the middle, and Sosa, and especially Clifton on the left, who's a good player. Got a good long range shot on him and was really testing them. So I was impressed with them. I thought they did well. But having said that, they're now going to have to go to the well twice in a week, go to a good team, and try to get an away result against them, and that's not easy. You're going to have to dig deep twice. They've had recovery time, but emotionally that's tough. And my big hope for this game is that we talked about the sort of malaise that's come into our away form, but at home we've been rock solid still. Our last home game was Stockport when we smashed them. And I just hope this will be an opportunity for the team to sort of reset after the frustration of the last couple of games. We have a rocking capacity racecourse, fantastic atmosphere. We step up. We do what we've consistently done since January at home and put in a big, big performance that doesn't just take us through to the final, but catapults us into the final with momentum. And I think we're perfectly capable of doing that myself.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think if we play at our best, I think there's no team in this league that can beat us.
Yeah.
But what my concern is, if we do play something that resembles the Dagenham game, something that resembles the Bromley game, the way Grimsby played, from what I seen on Monday, we are going to have a really long afternoon. They're obviously a quality side. They've been a bit up and down themselves this season, haven't they? But yeah, it's really important, I think, Bill, that the Wrexham fans make the racecourse a fortress once again on Saturday.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We need to make it unplayable for them, just like we did against Stockport. That level of noise of the booing and the whistling, very continental-esque sort of atmosphere at the start of the Stockport game, and then missing chances as well, in fairness, really rattled them. And it ended up leading to us beating the deserved champions 3-0. So we've got to do the same thing to Grimsby. I only caught the last sort of quarter of an hour, 20 minutes of normal time, and then a little bit of extra time of the Grimsby Notts County game. I basically saw just before the penalty, so it's a bit difficult for me to judge too much. But I think even after they scored, even after Notts County scored, Grimsby was still quite in control and really should have scored a little bit sooner. But there's nothing in that game that makes me. I got to choose my words carefully because it's immortal last words in these sort of situations, isn't it? But there was nothing that absolutely terrified me in that game. Now, any team that gets to the playoffs, you've got to be wary of them. I'm just kind of hoping, like you say, Mark, emotionally to pull something back like that and then have to do another 30 minutes with penalties in the back of your mind, get home from Notts County and have to come to us either early Saturday morning or late Friday is going to put a little bit of the spanner in their works. We'll see. I think there's always one team in the playoff mix that surprises everybody, and hopefully it's not Grimsby. I got a feeling it might be Chesterfield. We'll come on to that a little bit later, but hopefully it's not Grimsby because they've got the capability. It's just whether we can. I just don't think there's any. I mean, as proven by the fact that we beat Stockport 3-0 and beaten them 2-0 in the trophy. There's nobody in this league who can beat us on our day. We just got to make sure we show up.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we will turn up. I think, like I said, I think going back to the race scores, I think it's really what the team need now. They've had a little bit of a shaky time with it. Get back to the race course, comfortable surroundings, amazing support. I think this is what we need. Just get back to what we do, and give them a bit of a thumping. What do you reckon, Neil? We're gonna.
I agree with you both. To be honest, we've been absolutely fantastic at home in the last 10 games, maybe. I mean, it used to be the other way around where we were playing really well away and winning games and struggling at home. But the roles seem to be reversed. I don't think we've got anything to be worried about or scared about with Grimsby as long as we play our normal game and the fans get behind the team. We showed we can do it against Stockport. I'm going to say we've done that twice. We did it against Boreham Wood, who hadn't conceded many goals before they came to us in the FA Trophy and then the league. Yeah. So we are very capable of putting in a good results on Saturday, and I'm sure we will do. As Bill said, I mean, the spanner in the work, I think Chesterfield, they were the underdogs of underdogs, and they could surprise Solihull. I don't know, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident about Saturday as long as he picks his strongest team, and that maybe revert back to who he's been playing, with Tyler French and Hall Johnson. But with the home crowd there, and if they can make as much noise as they did against Stockport, because there's always a great atmosphere when there's a good away following there as well. I'm sure the ground will be bouncing again. You know what I was like at the Stockport game. I was singing along as well, so hopefully it'll be the same come Saturday.
Let's get you singing again, Neil.
Yep.
We need the singing commentator for big games.
We also, of course, we heard Phil Parkinson talking about how he's hoping a couple of more players will be fit by Saturday. He said it after the trophy final. So, you know what I'm going to say? I feel a bit bad that I keep saying it, but Hayden, please.
Please.
I'd like Rosanna as well, if I'm honest, but...
Please. I'm not dissing Tyler French or Tom O'Connor, who can play excellent in those positions, but we have not looked the same without Aaron Hayden, I must say. I think he's our best player. I'll talk more about that later when we talk about our the awards, but yeah, I think if we have a fit Aaron Hayden for this game, but I'd rather, if he's not 100%, I'd rather not play him.
Yeah.
Just because if he gets injured again, it could be worse. But yeah, 100% fit Aaron Hayden, Bill, that would be a massive boost to us.
Oh, without a doubt, he's the best player in the league in that position, I think. And we've really missed him. We sort of talk a lot about his aerial threat, but we miss him in attack and defense, and we are just infinitely a better side with him in the squad. Absolutely. I think I wouldn't want to risk him if he was unfit, but I think, if we beat Grimsby, there's an 8-day gap. Throw him in if he's ready, even if he can only play 60 minutes. Get him in there. Just get him playing. Why not? Come on, Aaron. Let's get Aaron Aiden back. It's like getting the band back together, isn't it?
But guys, we actually beat Stockport with the team with French at the back. So
true, very true.
So on our day we can beat anybody, no matter who got in defence. But you just got to play all the players in the right positions on the pitch. And I think we'll win on Saturday comfortably.
Old call. I hope so. Honestly, I think we'll win too. I think if we play to our best ability, hopefully the last 2 losses haven't hit them too hard. I believe this squad, this side, the personnel we've got, the management team, everyone and everything to do with this club have got the resilience to bounce back from Sunday. But yeah, I really believe we can win too, but we have a really tough test against Grimsby. And I hope everyone's there. Hope everyone's enjoying it. And if not, listen to us on the radio. After this, Mark, and Neil and Bill, we're going to be talking about the Player of the Season awards.
I'm Dan Jarvis, and this is Dragonheart.
Well, the awards, there was an Wrexham Awards evening the other night, which was really cool. I watched it on the stream. I watched most of it on the stream. Yeah, I don't think there was many surprises, was there, Bill?
No, not really. Everyone involved thoroughly deserved all the awards that they got. It's nice to see Jordan Davis get Players Player. I think as much as he obviously gets a lot of praise, his contribution goes under the radar. And for a midfielder to score as many as he has for Wrexham at any point in our history is an absolute achievement, and fair play to him. He thoroughly deserves that award. And then obviously Paul Mullin, what a superstar. And the women, and it's nice to see a bit more exposure for the women's team and having them on equal footing as the men's, wasn't it, Mark?
Absolutely. I mean, let's run through those trophy winners, because there were 9. So firstly, first 2, no big surprise. Men's top scorer, Paul Mullin. Women's top scorer, Rosie Hughes. Was it 48 she got?
Incredible.
The men's Players Player of the Season was Jordan Davis, as you said. The women's Players Player of the Season was TJ Dickens. The goal of the season, which was, of course, voted for on Twitter, was Paul Mullin's epic against Stockport County. Then the Women's Young Player of the Year was Amber Lightfoot. The Women's Player of the Year was Rosie Hughes. The Men's Young Player of the Year was Max Cleworth. And the Men's Player of the Season was Paul Mullin. I mean, you can't argue with Mullin, for example, being Player of the Season. He's been sensational and has won us a lot of matches. And to be honest, Cleworth as well is a pretty obvious choice. Although we've got players like Bryce Susanna who are eligible and have done brilliantly. But I mean, Cleworth has really stepped up and looks magnificent, doesn't he?
Yeah, Cleworth's been brilliant. It's been nice to see all these seasoned players trying to target him, looking at him as the weak link in our defence. It's simply not true. He's not the weak link at all. He's rose above pretty much all adversity. I've never really seen him have a terrible game this season. He's been a credit to himself. He's been a credit to the club. Yeah, one hell of a player. I don't think anyone here will disagree or have any other opinions on who the young player of the season was.
And who called it first, Chay? You said in pre-season when we were talking about players, and I said I'd like to see us loan him out to another team in our league to develop, and you said if he's good enough for our league, don't loan him out, play him. How right you were.
Yes, I can be very smug about that. It's on record. I had a lot of faith in Max Cleworth because we were fortunate to watch him in the pre-season friendlies, weren't we, Mark? And we against Fleetwood and
Tamworth, he was spectacular, wasn't he?
Yeah, and from that we thought, yeah, we both said at the time there's some player there, and yeah, he's been incredible, hasn't he, Neil?
Yeah, I mean, for me, he's been not just only the young player. I think he's been, for how he's developed this season, he's been like the player of the season. Although I didn't vote for him, but he's been a fantastic player. He's been solid. as you said, I haven't seen him play a bad game. Yes, all players make mistakes, but he's made very, very few, and he's always been very solid. And what I like about the lad as well, he's very attacking as well. And the runs he makes up the wing is, valuable to the rest of the team, and he can get back. So yeah, he's been an absolute great player for the team this season.
Yeah, he's certainly 100%, Neil. Also, player of the season. It had to be him, didn't it? It had to be Paul Mullin. I personally didn't vote for Paul Mullin. I voted for someone else. But Bill, Paul Mullin, it's hard to really argue with that, isn't it?
Hang on a second. You can't leave us hanging there. Who did you vote for?
I voted for Aaron Hayden.
Fair play.
I think Aaron Hayden's been just as instrumental as Paul Mullin, in my personal opinion.
I didn't vote for him either.
Who did you vote for?
Neil didn't vote. Neil, who did you vote for?
I voted for Luke Young. First full season as captain. And the lad, he gives every game, he gives 100% from attacking to get back and being a defensive player. He runs his socks off. Yes, he hasn't scored a goal, and I wish he had scored a goal. Hopefully he'll score one on Saturday this season, but I think he's been an outstanding player and an ambassador for the club and for the team. A great choice. My only downside was Mullin with his 2 sending-offs, and that's why I didn't vote for him, because there were silly sendings off, and it could have cost us, the title to the league.
Yeah.
I voted for those Norwegian lads with the wolf heads on. I think I got mixed up with Eurovision.
You're used to Eurovision yourself, aren't you, Mark? So,
I.
Who did you two vote for, Bill and Mark? We'll go, Bill, you go first.
I voted for Paul Mullin because I just, on balance, you can have players in other positions doing as well as they have done this season, and I think you could name 5 or 6, maybe even 7 players in this squad who any other year would have won player of the season in any other Wrexham team in the conference era. But just the amount of goals he scored. Do you know what? I've got a bit of an insight into my incredibly negative brain. We've had a few of them on Dragonheart, but I'll give you another one. Right, I found it difficult to, in the footballing sense, fall in love with Paul Mullin, because I have an automatic reaction that any player who does well for Wrexham is going to disappear off the face of the earth. It's only really recently that I've been able to let myself sort of really appreciate how good he actually is. Astounding striker, shouldn't be playing at our level, but hopefully won't be next season with us in League Two. So yeah, let's hope he can bag another couple over the next couple of weeks, Mark.
Oh yeah, another 5 would do for me. Yeah,
just 5.
I'm talking about the first half against Grimsby. I'm sure you.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I voted for Mullin for the simple reason that the last person to score more goals than him in the Wrexham season did it in 2003. So, he's done rather well. And it was, when you look at the last few years where we've not, apart from Luke Young, we've not been able to get players into double figures in the last 3 seasons. It was rather nice to see a bloke who you just rely upon to score goals, quite apart from the fact that Palmer and Davis chipped in as well, and Hayden and Jones.
Yeah.
But, the guys won games for us. Look at Stockport game. Just that on its own. The bloke's a match winner. I just couldn't. I love Hayden. I think he's been outstanding. I think Tozer has been excellent as well. I could go through the team and name all sorts of players. Young, Davis, Jones has done really well. Palmer's had a huge impact. But ultimately, I had to go for Mullin, really. He's just been brilliant.
Brilliant. Well, I'm going to introduce our own Dragonheart category for an award. Unsung Hero of the Year.
Ooh.
Neil, you can go first.
Yeah, Neil. Yeah, don't worry. We've not been mourned either.
When you say unsung, are we talking about player or somebody involved in the club, or
player or someone? Anything you want to.
Well, I would put it down to Colin Henrys. He's come in, he had to take over the role this season.
In the media team, is it?
Was it last season? Was it? Sorry. Was it this season, or did he take over this trophy?
Last season he did as well, didn't he?
Yeah, part of last season. So he's taken in his stride. Clubs, the club has grown and grown and grown, and he's had to run with that. He has no airs and graces about it. He's very calm about what he does, and I think he's done a great job within the club on the media team.
That's very
Brilliant.
cool.
Yeah, I like that. Bill?
I don't know as much about what goes on in the background, really. I'm a bit of a match day sort of in and out person, so I'll go with a player. I think Ben Tozer is kind of the unsung hero of the team. We've heard a lot about Cleworth. We hear a lot about Hayden from ourselves. Even Jones and Davis and Young get their shout outs, but Tozer's been Mr. Consistent this year, isn't he? He's had every player's had the bad game, but he's a 7 out of 10 almost every single week without fail. And I think almost the fact that he doesn't get talked about so much is because he just does his job.
Yeah.
And his assists as well from throw-ins, it's a skill that it's kind of a bit of a novelty and a gimmick, but it shouldn't be overlooked. It's a lot of goals we've scored this year from him, and match-winning goals in against Stockport. That throw-in to absolutely turn the tide of the way the atmosphere of the game was going, and he ends up going to win we end up going to win the match. So yeah, Ben Tozer for me.
Yeah, Mark.
Ryan Ran. No, actually, that's not. That's not that unsung, is he really? All right then. How about Paul Challoner, the groundsman? He's worked at the club for years with a pitiable budget, and he's always done an excellent job. And this year, he's actually had some money behind him to try and make sure that he can do his job properly. And he has produced week in, week out, even when we've had 7 games in a row. An outstanding playing surface, and that's crucial for us because we have the best players in the division, and therefore if they don't have the right pitch, they're going to struggle. So I think the way that he's consistently come up with the goods and has given the players the canvas in which they can create means Charlie's done ever so well. He deserves recognition because, like I said, he's worked for a long time with little or no fundings. I've seen when he's had to go to the Supporters Association to say, can you give me some money to buy this piece of equipment because we need it and we're not going to be able to get it. So it's good to see him being given the tools of his trade.
Brilliant. That's amazing. I'm going to go with stewards and kiosk staff because not only have they had to deal with a vast increase of attendances, it's coming from 3,000 to 4,000 a week to now 8,000 to 9,000. The demand, the pressures, people waiting for their pints. I've seen it firsthand in Wrexham. It's like a jungle down there at halftime, So I'd like to say huge credit to them for keeping match days as smooth as possible. Because without them, games wouldn't be allowed to be held. So yeah, big ups to them.
I'm all up for renaming underneath the Wrexham stand the Concrete Jungle. Chay, what do you reckon?
Yeah, it's like that. It is like that, and the pressure they're under serving those pints of Wrexham lager. I wouldn't want their job. I tell you now.
It's sweatier down there than Richard Hope's jockstrap.
Oh,
I just threw that in as another alternative title apart from Sausages of the Future.
How do you know it's that worse than his jockstrap, Mark?
Because I used to employ a group of little Cockney kids to steal stuff from the changing rooms while the games go on. I have the perfect alibi because I can prove I'm commentating. Because in those days, up to 4 people would be listening live.
Wow. Got
to pick a jockstrap or 2. As the song goes.
Oh, well. After that bombshell.
Can I change my nomination slightly, please?
Go on then.
Can I also add the rest of the media team to that as well? Because we all majority of us all volunteer for it. We give up our own time to travel to wherever we need to do what we need to do, just to put Wrexham on the map and to broadcast and take pictures the people all over the world to see.
Brilliant. Well, I agree, Neil. We are brilliant.
Mr. Modesty strikes again. We love you, Neil. Fair dues.
Well, after this, we're going to wrap up the show. Go. Well, fellas, it's been a really fun podcast to record this one. Thanks to Neil, especially, for making his Dragonheart debut so late on in the season. But I think you're going to be that good luck charm for that victory on Saturday.
Yeah, all being well, we'll get the win we need on Saturday. The team will be up for it, and the fans will definitely be up for it.
Yeah, 100%. Bill, hope you enjoy the game from the Wrexham end.
The concrete jungle.
The concrete jungle. I hope it's nice and round. Exactly. Hope it's nice and roundy. Mark, I'm sure to see you on Saturday. We're going to be talking about some Spanish second division side before the game or whatever.
Good to see that Eibar are doing so well. Good stuff.
I can't wait. Anyway,
shout out to the Mandy Tharotha, of course. I've got a clue what I'm talking about anymore, but you know.
Well, exactly. Well, guys, thanks so much for this podcast. It's been a really good one, and hopefully, if we win, we can all meet up for a pint on Saturday. This has been Dragonheart.